It was the dawn of a new era in China, the Qin dynasty. The air was thick with mist, and high in the mountains, thousands of laborers worked tirelessly. Stone by stone, they built what would become one of the greatest wonders of the world, the Great Wall. Emperor Qin Shi Huang, China's first ruler, had a vision, a wall so mighty that it would protect his empire from the wild nomadic tribes threatening his land. Among those laborers was Bao, a young man with a single dream, a better life for his family. Each stone he laid felt heavy, not just with the weight of the earth, but with the hopes and prayers for the safety of his loved ones. His hands, sore and bruised, moved rhythmically along with the others, their shared strength weaving together the bricks of history. As the wall stretched further, the workers began to realize they weren't just building a defense. They were creating something much larger, a force that could stand against enemies and the harsh terrain itself. This wall would not only protect China's borders, but its very soul. Far away, two mercenaries rode along the fabled Silk Road, William Garin and Pero Tova. They were not interested in walls or empires. Their eyes were set on something far more tempting, a mystical powder, whispered to grant its holder immense power. Tales of China's magical riches and hidden forces had drawn them into this treacherous land. Their journey led them through blistering deserts and freezing mountains. One evening, they met a stranger, cloaked in shadows, who warned of an ancient evil stirring beyond the Great Wall. His words echoed in their minds long after he disappeared into the night, filling them with a growing unease. In the imperial court, Emperor Qin Shi Huang stood observing the wall's progress with pride. Beside him was his daughter, Lin Mei, a fierce and skilled warrior. They both stared into the distance, where the wall wound like a snake through the mountains. It promised safety, but also hid secrets, dark ones, the emperor feared. The legend of the Great Wall had begun. What started as a labor of stone, sweat, and ambition was quickly turning into something far more mysterious. As the sun set behind the mountains, casting long shadows over the land, one thing became clear. The true adventure was only just beginning. The unknown loomed, ready to challenge them all.
William Garin and Pero Tovar rode their horses across the vast desert, a relentless expanse of golden dunes stretching out before them. The heat was suffocating, and the sun bore down like a relentless hammer, but their hunger for the mystical powder pushed them forward. This substance, rumored to hold immense power, had become an obsession, driving them deeper into the unknown. During their travels, they crossed paths with a caravan of merchants, weary travelers who spoke of the Great Wall with awe. The stories of its towering presence and the secrets it guarded made William and Pero's hearts race. They felt it, a connection between the wall and their own quest. They knew they had to reach it. In the bustling market town of Samarkand, the mercenaries sought answers. Among the chaos of traders and goods, they found a man unlike any other. His eyes were sharp, his movements deliberate. He called himself Wang, and through cryptic words, he revealed himself to be part of a secret society, one sworn to protect the mysteries of the Great Wall. Wang spoke of an ancient evil that lurked beyond the wall, a creature of nightmare known as the Tao Tie. The mention of this ancient beast sent a chill through the air, though the desert wind was still hot. Wang warned William and Pero of the dangers ahead, of the dark forces that lay beyond the wall's towering stones. Yet, he offered them a choice, to join him in uncovering the wall's secrets, or to continue their perilous quest alone. The mercenaries exchanged glances, weighing their options. They had always faced danger, but something about this felt different, darker, more dangerous. Still, the call of adventure, of the unknown, was too strong to resist, and they agreed to join Wang, sealing their fates to a path no longer bound by gold, but by something far more mysterious. As they ventured deeper into the heart of China, the desert gave way to rugged mountains, and a strange energy seemed to fill the air. The skies grew darker, and with each step, William and Pero could feel it. They were being watched. A creeping sense of dread followed them, an invisible shadow in the distance, always there, but never seen. Back at the imperial court, Lin Mei, the emperor's fierce daughter, stood by the wall, gazing into the horizon. She could feel it too. A gathering darkness beyond the wall, a storm waiting to strike. Her father, the emperor, remained silent, his gaze locked on the wall. It was as if he, too, was waiting for it to reveal its hidden truths. Now, the stage was set for worlds to collide, east and west, the known and the unknown. With each step closer to the Great Wall, the mysteries only deepened. The journey had begun, but no one could predict the horrors that awaited them.
The night was thick with tension, as William, Pero, and Wang neared the towering shadow of the Great Wall. An unnatural stillness hung in the air, every sound amplified by the quiet. as though the world itself was holding its breath. Then, without warning, the silence was shattered by a piercing scream, the kind that sent a chill down the spine. The ground shook violently as something massive stirred in the darkness, crashing against the wall, its roar reverberating through the air. Emerging from the shadows, the Tao Tie appeared. Its glowing eyes cut through the gloom like fiery beacons, illuminating its monstrous form. It was a creature out of nightmares, a beast of legend brought to life. Its claws were like daggers, tearing through stone and wood, sending chunks of the wall crashing to the earth below. Without hesitation, William and Pero drew their swords, their hearts racing. This was no ordinary battle. They were up against something far beyond human comprehension. While they steeled themselves for the fight, Wang stood frozen, paralyzed by fear and awe. The stories he had heard were true, but the reality was far more terrifying than he had imagined. The battle began in earnest. William and Pero charged, their blades flashing under the pale moonlight as they tried to dodge the Tao Tie's deadly swipes. The creature was relentless, its sheer size and strength overwhelming. No matter how many strikes they landed, it seemed unscathed, a nightmare immune to the sharpest steel. Then, high above them, a figure appeared atop the wall. Lin Mei, the Emperor's daughter, loosed arrows with deadly precision, each one striking the beast with incredible force. Yet to her dismay, the Tao Tai barely flinched, its wounds sealing themselves almost as quickly as they were made. Suddenly, Wang broke from his trance, eyes wide with realization. In a trembling voice, he revealed a secret that shook William and Pero to their core. The Tao Tai was once human, transformed and corrupted by the very powder they had been hunting. The monster wasn't merely a creature of destruction. It was a guardian, twisted into its terrifying form to protect the wall from those who sought to abuse the power the powder contained. The mercenaries exchanged uneasy glances. All this time, they had been chasing something that might have led them to their doom. Had they been wrong to seek the powder's power? Before they could contemplate further, the Tao Tai let out an earth-shaking roar, its voice like thunder, knocking William and Pero to the ground. In the confusion, William's sword was ripped from his grasp, and Pero suffered a brutal blow, leaving him barely conscious. Lin Mei, seeing the peril, leapt from the wall, without hesitation. Her dagger gleamed in the moonlight as she struck at the Tao Tai, fighting desperately to protect the fallen warriors. But just as the creature prepared for a final, devastating attack, Wang acted. Drawing on his knowledge of the ancient arts, he unleashed a powerful incantation, momentarily weakening the Tao Tai. The creature hesitated, its once unbreakable form faltering under Wang's mystic force. As the dust settled and the roars faded into the night, the battlefield was left in ruins. The Tao Tai had retreated into the shadows, but the damage was done. The Great Wall stood, though barely, and unanswered questions lingered in the air. What was the true nature of the powder? How deep did the wall's secrets run? And most of all, what dark force had twisted a human soul into such a monstrous form? One thing was certain: William, Pero, Lin Mei, and Wang were now bound by more than just the fight. They were tied together in a shared quest for answers, an uneasy alliance that would lead them deeper into a world of shadows and mystery. The battle was over, but their journey had only just begun. In the eerie silence that followed the battle, Wang guided the group through a series of narrow passageways carved into the depths of the Great Wall. The atmosphere was heavy, thick with the scent of incense and the weight of forgotten secrets. The walls, ancient and cold, seemed to close in on them as they descended deeper. At last, they arrived at a hidden chamber, its entrance nearly invisible to the untrained eye. The air inside was cool, the kind of cold that seeped into their bones, hinting at the long-forgotten mysteries that lay within. Wang stood at the center of the room, his expression grave. "Before you seek the powder, you must understand its true nature," he began, his voice resonating through the chamber. William, Pero, and Lin Mei gathered around him, their eyes wide with anticipation. As Wang spoke, the walls around them began to glow with a soft, ethereal light. The light flickered, growing brighter until it coalesced into murals that had been hidden beneath the stone for centuries. The images were vivid, showing the origins of the mystical powder that had driven their quest. The murals told the tale of a powerful alchemist, a man who had once wielded the powder with great wisdom. It was said that the alchemist had infused the powder with the essence of the gods, granting him powers beyond imagination. As the scenes unfolded, they saw the alchemist create marvels, reshaping the world around him with a mere handful of the shimmering substance. But power, Wang explained, had a price. The alchemist's desire for control grew insatiable. No longer content with protecting his people, he sought to conquer all of China, to rule as a god king. The gods, however, had seen his heart darken. Fearing the alchemist's ambition, they cursed the powder, twisting its power into something monstrous. The murals showed the tragic transformation of the once noble warrior who had served the alchemist. Consumed by the cursed powder, the warrior became the Tao Tie, a fearsome creature of destruction, roaming the land in a blind rage. As Wang's story came to an end, a deep silence filled the room. William, Pero, and Lin Mei stood in stunned disbelief, their minds grappling with the magnitude of what they had just learned. They had chased the powder, believing it to be the key to power and protection. Now they understood that it was a curse, one that had wrought untold destruction for generations. Then came the final revelation, a truth that sent a chill down their spines. The Emperor, Wang said, his voice barely above a whisper, is the last living descendant of that alchemist. His gaze locked with Lin Mei's. Your father, Lin Mei, has been searching for the powder, believing it will restore your family's lost glory, but he does not understand the curse that lies within. Lin Mei's heart sank as the truth washed over her. Her father's quest for the powder, his determination to reclaim the Empire's greatness, had unknowingly placed the entire realm at risk. The thought of her father, consumed by the same ambition that had doomed the alchemist, horrified her. She clenched her fists, resolve building in her chest. She had to stop him, no matter the cost. The group quickly devised a plan. They would sneak into the Imperial Palace, steal the powder, and destroy it before the Emperor could unleash its cursed power. But as they made their preparations, a deafening roar echoed through the chamber. The Tao Tai was close. It too sought the powder, driven by an insatiable hunger that could not be quenched. With renewed determination, the group set out on their dangerous mission. The journey to the palace was fraught with peril. They moved silently through the shadows, navigating the winding corridors of the Imperial grounds. Every step was a risk, every corner a potential trap. The sound of guards' footsteps echoed through the halls, heightening the tension with each passing moment. Finally, they reached the Emperor's chambers. The doors creaked open, revealing a room bathed in the warm glow of candlelight. At the center, the Emperor stood, his face illuminated by the eerie, pulsating light of the powder, which he held in his hands. The substance shimmered with an otherworldly energy, casting strange shadows across his features. Father, stop! Lin Mei's voice broke the silence, trembling with emotion. She stepped forward, her heart pounding in her chest. You don't know what you're doing. The Emperor turned to her, his eyes gleaming with a madness she had never seen before. I know exactly what I am doing, he hissed, his voice filled with unshakable conviction. I am reclaiming our family's destiny. Before William or Pero could react, the Emperor raised his hand and unleashed a wave of dark energy. The blast sent them crashing into the walls, gasping for breath as the force of the attack overwhelmed them. In that moment, the Tao Tai burst into the room, its eyes fixed on the powder. The Emperor, blinded by his ambition, poured the cursed substance into an ancient artifact. A dark and terrible power surged forth, filling the room with chaotic energy. As the room erupted into violence, Lin Mei's heart broke. Her father, once a great leader, had succumbed to the same ambition that had destroyed the alchemist. Tears streamed down her face as she realized that she might have to make an impossible choice to save the Empire, or save her father from himself. Father, please. Lin Mei's voice cracked, the weight of her emotions threatening to break her resolve. Her sword trembled in her hand, the cold steel heavy with the burden of what she might have to do. You're not thinking clearly. The power of the powder. It's too great for anyone to control. For a brief moment, something flickered in the Emperor's eyes. A glimmer of doubt. A flicker of the man he once was. Lin Mei held her breath, hoping, praying, that her words would reach him. But then, just as quickly, his expression hardened once more, and he gripped the ancient artifact tightly, his knuckles white with determination. You don't understand, Lin Mei, he spat, his voice filled with a desperate conviction. This is our family's destiny. Before she could respond, he raised the artifact high, and a wave of dark energy shot forth, slamming into Lin Mei with the force of a battering ram. She was thrown across the room, crashing into the cold stone floor with a sickening thud. Pain coursed through her body, but she gritted her teeth and forced herself to rise. William and Pero, still reeling from the Emperor's earlier attack, struggled to get back on their feet, but the Emperor's magic pressed down on them like an invisible weight, pinning them to the ground, making it impossible to move. Meanwhile, the Tao Tai, the monstrous creature born of the cursed powder, saw its chance. With a feral roar, it lunged toward the Emperor, its massive claws outstretched, aiming for the artifact in his hand. But the Emperor was too quick. With a mere wave of his hand, he conjured a barrier of energy that sent the Tao Tai crashing into the wall. The creature let out a pained growl, momentarily subdued. The room fell deathly silent as Lin Mei shakily rose to her feet. Her eyes locked onto her father,
standing in the center of the chaos, the weight of the artifact glowing ominously in his hands. "You've gone too far," she whispered, her voice barely audible, but laced with the sorrow of a daughter who had lost the man she once knew. She raised her sword, her heart pounding with the knowledge of what she might have to do. This wasn't just a fight for the Empire. It was a fight for her father's soul. But as she stood there, poised to strike, she hesitated. Her father's face, once twisted in madness, softened. In his eyes, Lin Mei saw a flicker of regret, a spark of the man who had raised her, who had loved her. "Lin Mei." The Emperor's voice was weak now, full of sorrow and pain. "I'm sorry. I didn't mean for this to happen. I didn't know." His words trailed off, his shoulders slumping under the weight of his actions. Her grip on the sword faltered. Lin Mei's heart broke as she stood there, torn between her duty to protect the Empire and her love for her father. Tears welled in her eyes, blurring her vision as she struggled to make the hardest decision of her life. Behind her, William and Pero were fighting to break free from the magical bonds that held them. With a final burst of strength, Pero managed to wriggle loose. Quietly, he crept toward the Emperor, his sword raised, prepared to end it all. But Lin Mei saw him move, and her voice rang out in the stillness. "No!" She turned toward Pero, her eyes filled with anguish. "Let me do this." Reluctantly, Pero lowered his sword, stepping back to give Lin Mei the space she needed. She took a deep breath, steadying herself as she approached her father. Her sword felt like it weighed 1,000 pounds as she lifted it. The Emperor, now kneeling before her, looked up, his face streaked with tears. His madness had faded, leaving only a broken man in its wake. "I'm sorry, Lin Mei," he whispered, his voice trembling with regret. "I was blinded by ambition. I thought I was doing this for you, for us. Please, forgive me." Lin Mei's hand shook as she gripped her sword, but she couldn't bring herself to strike. Instead, she gently reached out and took the artifact from her father's hands. The moment her fingers touched the cursed relic, the dark energy that had filled the room dissipated. The air became still, the heavy tension lifting as the Emperor slumped forward, defeated. Standing there, the artifact in her hand, Lin Mei felt an unsettling energy pulsing through her veins. The power was intoxicating, and for a fleeting moment, she understood the temptation that had consumed her father. But she also knew that this power was dangerous, too dangerous to exist in the world. The cursed powder had brought only pain and destruction, and it had to be destroyed. But even as she made that decision, Lin Mei knew she couldn't do it alone. She turned to William and Pero, her friends who had fought beside her through every peril. Together they had faced impossible odds, and together they would find a way to end this once and for all. "We'll find a way to destroy the powder," Lin Mei said, her voice firm with resolve. "But we must do it together. We can't let this happen again." William nodded, and Pero gave her a solemn look of understanding. The road ahead would be difficult, but they knew their mission was clear. Lin Mei had saved her father from himself, but now they had to save the Empire from the dark legacy of the powder. The battle wasn't over yet, but they were ready to face whatever came next, together.
The Emperor's defeat reverberated throughout the palace, sending ripples of disbelief and relief among the guards and court officials. The realization of their master's madness struck hard, and in his absence, they laid down their weapons without resistance. Lin Mei, William, and Pero, bruised and battered from the confrontation, were soon hailed as heroes. The halls of the palace echoed with praise for their bravery and selflessness. But amid the celebrations, Lin Mei felt only a hollow ache. Her father, once a just and wise ruler, had been reduced to a broken man, his mind twisted by ambition and the cursed powder. Though she had done what was necessary, the victory tasted bitter. The cost had been high, and the weight of her decision pressed heavily on her heart. The Emperor, now stripped of his title and power, was confined to a guarded chamber within the palace. His madness had subsided, but he remained a mere shadow of the man he once was. Lin Mei visited him often, sitting by his side, hoping to see a flicker of the father she remembered. Slowly, as the days passed, he began to speak again, his words clearer, his gaze less clouded by the powder's malevolent influence. "Lin Mei," he would whisper on the quietest of evenings, his voice frail but remorseful. "I never meant for it to come to this." Despite her pain, Lin Mei forgave him. She knew the power of the powder had been too great, even for a ruler as strong as him. Her forgiveness was tempered by a resolve to prevent such a tragedy from ever happening again. Outside the palace, the Empire teetered on the edge of chaos. With the Emperor's downfall, many feared a collapse of order, but Lin Mei, William, and Pero stepped up to fill the void. Together they worked tirelessly to restore stability, navigating the complex politics of the court and securing the loyalty of the army. Their friendship, forged in the fires of battle, grew grew stronger with every challenge they faced, but their work was far from over. As they began to delve deeper into the secrets of the powder, they unearthed a shocking discovery. The powder's origin had been shrouded in mystery, but now they learned that the alchemist who had created it centuries ago still lived. He had survived, hidden away in the darkest corners of the empire, biding his time, waiting for the perfect moment to strike again. This revelation sent chills through Lin Mei. The battle with her father had been only the beginning. The true threat, the alchemist and his insidious plans, was still out there, lurking in the shadows. The powder's dark legacy had not been extinguished. It was poised to rise once more, threatening to plunge the empire into darkness. Lin Mei, William, and Pero knew what they had to do. Their journey would take them across treacherous landscapes, into courts rife with deceit, and face to face with enemies who sought to harness the powder's power for their own ends. The stage was set for a new adventure, one that would test their courage, their loyalty, and their very souls. Together, they would stand against the darkness, determined to stop the alchemist before the empire was consumed by the powder's deadly influence once more. But deep down, Lin Mei knew this battle would be even harder than the last.